Just like that, I'm back. Just here in London and Tebby. I've got a couple of days of some work to do, and then I'm going to head down to the farm with our special visitor. So hot, very nice to be back in the heat. A bit tired, but excited to be back and to see the farm. So hi everybody, we're back. It's great to be back here with Pauson, and I've got a visitor with me. This is, well, you can introduce yourself.
I'm Anton from ThinkAqua. We've been working with Rad for a year or so now, and this is my first opportunity to come and visit the farm here in Uganda. Great to be here.
Yeah, so we're just walking along. We're going off to see Deo, who you will have seen in our vids. We just wanted to show Anton like what a sort of typical farmer would look like in this area. So early morning stroll across the road is quite pleasant. Yeah, it's going well. So I'm looking forward to showing Anton all the different bits of the farm, all the things that we get up to, and it's great to be back. Really enjoying it. So we are at Deo, the gentleman. You might recognise him. He was one of our first walkers. Just at his pond, which is being renovated. So we've bought his fish, now of course empty. So he's going to restock. So he needs to do. When you've drained the pond, of course, you need to fix any issues you've got with it. So he's just repairing that bank there. I can see there's obviously a bit more mud comes at the bottom, so you want to clear that. Just make sure it's not too bushy. He actually had mirror carp in here as well, but which is not a species that's taken over that much in Uganda, but it is produced. They were telling us it's quite rare now. There is a hatchery, but you have to pay quite a lot for the fingerlings, so 1,000 shillings as opposed to 200. That's what the ministry was telling us. But there's issues with its production, which is why we haven't used it. Pauson was just telling me that part of it is it digs into the banks, so then you end up you can lose your fish. It doesn't produce as much fry or fingerlings, so keeping the population up can be a bit tricky. Yeah, Adele's seems quite excited. He's just explained to Anton he wants to increase his pond, so he wants to put some more ponds that way. He's got like a little pond there, and then the water source is coming from this direction. So yeah, it's great to be back. This is the work to clear the mud. So it looks like we're being expanded this way. No, it's okay. Just clearing it up. It's obviously hard work. And then this stuff has not been cleared yet, so you can see it's been scraped up with the fuka, the hoe. And yeah, but it's looking pretty good, this pond. There's a bit of soil moving around, but it just gets chucked over. And I can tell you it's hard work. It's not too easy. So one of the challenges Dale was just telling us about is he obviously wants to stock again, and we are just about. I keep promising fingerlings to people, but we're getting there. We basically want our first generation of fry. I think it's about 0.4 grams. So we want to. That's going to be our next generation to make sure our brood stock are healthy, and there'll be a lot of them, so they'll produce way more fry, which is good. And then the second generation is currently in the pond. I think we are due to harvest. It's been 3 weeks. It's actually 4 weeks now. So it should be ready to collect. Then we'll put them in happers, let them grow out a bit, and then we'll supply them to. Those are the ones that we'll be supplying. So yeah, it's exciting that we can do that. But one of the challenges is this thing about predation and fish loss. So a farmer like Deo will supply like 1,000 fish into this pond, and then when you come to harvest you find that you've got way less than that. There's loads of reasons that happens. In one of them you can see this is not covered, so any birds, things like that can just come and, even if it's taking one a day for, or you get a couple of birds doing that, that's 3 a day over 3 months, that's 900 fish, right? So it's quite a lot, and it can really have a big impact. So one of the things is size, and so we've been advised by someone who, shout out to Abdullah if you're watching this, he's decades of experience in this area, and he was saying that part of the issue is you're stocking 1 gram fingerlings and not 10 gram. So challenge, that the reason that is because 1 gram fish are much easier to transport, they're less likely to die, and then secondly the price, because to get them from 1 gram to 10 grams you've got to spend a fair bit more cash, so farmers don't want to spend any more money on fingerlings. But I'm really thinking through how we can supply appropriately sized fingerlings to people, so like 10 grams if possible. How we do that and stop predation, and maybe we, the nets that we've got, which are pretty cheap, the gill nets, which are illegal, but they're perfect for covering the pond, and they're really cheap. So there's a couple of ideas rumbling around about how we do that, just to make sure that farmers, when they are stocking, they maintain the majority of their fish and they lose far less to predation, because it can be really high, and it's bad for us as well, because when we're like going to a farm to harvest, you've got to spend fuel to get there, you've got to, it's manpower, women power, people power, getting that fish out of the pond, and if you only get 100 or 50 and you're expecting 300, you are losing your effort and your time and your money. So we also want to stop that problem, of course, from a business point of view. So yeah, a couple of challenges and stuff that we're thinking through and discussing, and I hope we'll come up with a sensible plan of how to sort of conduct the fingerling stuff. Yeah, just finishing up that. Anton's having a one-on-one with Deo, talking about challenges, funding, things of that nature. We are just into fisheries officers mode, extension officer mode, so he's just helping the gentleman who's trying to clean the pond up, because the water was sort of stagnating, so we just tell them to open up the channel, get it drained, because it makes it much easier with less water in the pond. So this is the issue when you don't have sacks. Can you see this bank just collapsed underneath? And it's because there's nothing to stop the water sort of eroding underneath. When the fish are in here, of course, tilapia make nests as well, as we know, so it just erodes the banks, and then you get slippage, and then big chunks of soil just collapse into the ponds, which you don't really want. So, but I mean, the reason there's no sacks here is a cost one, because you've got to pay for them, and then there's a pipe here, but that's obviously not preferred outlet pipe. It's great, it's convenient, but that's been sourced, and then we're just draining the water here, and there's a PVC, which is the more traditional pipes that we see here. So anyway, I think we're about to shoot off. I'll ask Anton on the way what he thinks. So we're just leaving Deo's farm. Anton, any thoughts? Any one-liners for us? What did you think about the system?
It's interesting to just see the kind of scale. The smaller farmers, just one pond really.
Yeah.
And also just to hear from Deo about the challenges that he faces, just in terms of accessing feed and seed, their general availability, and then of course credit.
Yeah, that did come up, didn't it? But I hope you enjoyed this one. We've got a couple more videos to shoot. It'll be the same day, but got to keep you interested, right? But thanks for watching, and catch you later.